Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to welcome everybody today, especially because today we embrace a new beginning. Continuing on the growth trajectory since the Blalock-Taussig-Thomas Pediatric and Congenital Heart Center was established, the Heart Center now celebrates the inauguration of an important new facility, the Pediatric Cardiac Unit, PCU. This is truly a major step to improve care for our young patients with heart disease. Why? We understand that the challenges of caring for fragile young patients do not end when they can safely leave the intensive care unit. In many ways, the management requires just as much skill, just as much attention to detail as it did prior to their exit from the ICU. Perhaps they no longer require moment-by-moment critical care anymore, but they do need a place of their own where trained caregivers can focus fully on their substantial ongoing medical needs. Understanding this, representatives of several disciplines within the Johns Hopkins Children's Center, including cardiology, critical care, nursing, pulmonology, and cardiac surgery, have worked together to define a new standard for care on our existing inpatient unit. I give special thanks to Katie Thompson, Heart Center nurse educator, Sapna Edwards, 9 North nurse manager, Pat Kane, our new NPs Nicole Fushko and Annie Grace, my cardiology faculty colleagues, Drs. Lassia Gore and Bill Ravix, PCICU Director Dr. Darren Klutman, and Heart Center Administrator Daniel McFarland, just to name a few. The team has come together and have been engaged in creating this unit over the past 9 months. Please join me in congratulating them on their diligence in pursuit of what will be a fine addition to the program here. Truly, these are very exciting times, and the future will be even more exciting as the interdisciplinary care team of our physicians, nurse practitioners, nurses, nursing care partners, therapists, pharmacists, case managers, social workers, and child life specialists take the care of our complex patients to the next level. We salute their collaborative spirit and creativity. On behalf of the Blalock-Taussig-Thomas Pediatric and Congenital Heart Center co-directors, I offer profound thanks to everyone's energy and commitment as we create new possibilities and avenues for delivering outstanding cardiac care. I now invite Dr. Redonda Miller, President of the Johns Hopkins Hospital, to offer her remarks.
It's a tight fit here.
Yep.
Don't trip. We don't need a fall. I wore my special mask, the Children's Center mask, in honor of you all. It's a real pleasure to be here. Hi, everyone. I'm Redonda Miller, the president of the hospital, and what a momentous occasion this is. I must say it just feels right to be here. Certainly, this unit, 9 North, possibly wasn't here at the beginning, nor was the Charlotte R. Bloomberg building. But I'll tell you what, the beginning, the dawn of pediatric cardiology, Hopkins was here. And you probably are going to hear a lot about Helen Taussig today, but I will just mention her briefly because the birthplace of pediatric cardiology does date back to her. Many of you may or may not know her story. She grew up in Boston. Father was an economist at Harvard. Mother, one of the first students at Radcliffe. But she had a lot of challenges. She lost her mom when she was young. She had whooping cough and ended up with hearing loss. But despite this, she was determined to make a difference in medicine. She studied all the right courses, but was denied a degree from that school up north. So she ended up at Johns Hopkins, where we welcomed her with open arms into the medical school. She graduated, went on to lead the division of cardiology for many years, and became a true pioneer in pediatric cardiology. We all know her work with anoxemia, or blue babies, and her development of the Blalock-Taussig-Thomas shunt. And I tell you that story because I think it's relevant today. Relevant today in a couple of different ways. First, certainly we're the birthplace of cardiology, and she embodies the spirit of innovation that you all embody today, our 2021 pediatric cardiology team. And second, she also embodies what it's like to care for the whole patient. She was a staunch advocate for her patients and her families. You may not know this, she was actually testifying at a national level for banning thalidomide, the medication that led to all the birth defects. And locally, she was the one who spent time educating families, really caring for the whole patient. So I tell you this story because I think that embodies us. You, our pediatric cardiology team, and the entire Blalock-Taussig-Thomas Pediatric and Congenital Heart Center team, you are on the cusp of incredible greatness. The amount of growth and promise and innovation in this field embodied by you all here is really tremendous. And it's not all just the surgeons. I'm going to say that with a couple of them in the back, but I will tell you it's the cardiology team, it is the nurses, the social workers, the child life, spiritual care, and of course our pediatric cardiologists who see the patients through the continuum of their illness. I'm grateful to you because you're going to do amazing things. And then the second part I want to go back to that Helen Taussig brings to mind is this willingness to care, this desire to care for the whole patient. By having the new Pediatric Cardiology Unit, we will now have IMC level beds that will allow patients to transition out of the ICU setting, all the beeps, whistles, lack of sleep, into a setting here that is so much more comfortable, yet still provides this confidence and this assurance to our families that their child is getting top quality care, and that is you all. So I will just end by giving a few special thanks to some of you here that Shelby already mentioned. Of course, Shelby Cuddy. Of course, I'm going to say it all wrong, Lasha Gore. Wait, yeah, Lasia, darn it. Okay, Lasia Gore. We know how important it is you are playing as a director of inpatient cardiology. Thank you. Sapana Edwards, Sapana, yes, hi, we haven't met. Thank you for being here. Dr. Bill Ravix. I don't know if Bill made it or not, but he and I actually did research together when I was a medical student, so we go way back. I was a wannabe cardiologist at one point. And then, of course, Pat Kane. So thank you all. And I just mentioned a few names. It is this entire team here before us today that is really bringing amazing care to, I would argue, our youngest and sickest patients. On behalf of the Johns Hopkins Hospital, congratulations on the PCU, and thank you for all that you do.
So I get to go next. I'm Maggie Moon. I am the Director of the Department of Pediatrics, Co-Director of the Children's Center with my colleague David Hackman, who's going to speak after me. And I want to share everybody's welcome and congratulations. This has been an amazing process to get this unit, this PCU, Progressive Care Unit, opened up. I think it has been an example, though, of what I love so much about being at Hopkins. Every single day, I come to work at Hopkins knowing that I am surrounded by incredibly intelligent people who are committed to getting the right thing done. I cannot tell you the difference that makes when I get up every day to come to work, the confidence that it gives me, the belief that things are going to be okay. And there are some questions about, was this unit going to be okay? But I will tell you that even though creating this unit was neither obvious nor easy, every single day, the people who created this unit, those of you who are here, those of you who couldn't be here today, came to work bringing their intelligence, their dedication, their honesty, and their commitment to getting the right thing done. There were some days when it did not seem obvious. There were some days when it seemed like obstacles were flying forward as fast as this team could clear them. But this team cleared them, every single one, and will continue to do so. And I'm amazed and impressed and incredibly thankful for the strength and the qualities that you all have brought to this. And it makes me know that this is going to be successful going forward. It is the right place and you are the right people. And it does remind me what Dr. Miller was saying about Helen Taussig. So I'm fascinated by her, obviously. She was a great example of obstacles flying from every direction, and she never failed to use intelligence, resilience, and honesty to meet those obstacles. Dr. Miller talked about her mother died when she was young. She was dyslexic, for heaven's sakes. Can you imagine how difficult it was for her to get through school? But she did. And then she decided she wanted to think about going to med school. Her father said, well, public health is better for women, so go to public health. And Harvard, that school up north that we don't like to talk about very much, said, sure, you can take our courses, but we won't give you a degree. Well, that's helpful. So then she decided, okay, forget it, I'll go to medical school. It's what I wanted to do anyway. The same sort of thing. You're welcome to take our courses. We'll welcome you into our labs, but you're not going to get a degree. Again, for heaven's sakes. So she turned her sights to Baltimore, to Hopkins. And yes, she did well. She came here. She got the degree. But then again, failed to get the single spot in internal medicine open to women at the time. Okay, she kept going. She went back to the lab. And then Dr. Park, who was the chair of pediatrics at the time, noticed she is brilliant and welcomed her into pediatrics. She became a resident in pediatrics, and the rest is history. And that history brings us here today. But it's the history based on her willingness to overcome every obstacle, to keep being dedicated to getting the right thing done, and to following her passion and her mission. So congratulations, you all. This could not be more aptly named. You guys are wonderful. This place will be incredible. And thank you, thank you, thank you for persevering. David, you're next.
Thank you. Such an honor to speak, and I'll speak briefly. Such important words have been shared. I'm David Hackman. I'm the Chief of Pediatric Surgery and the Co-Director of the Children's Center. When I speak at a moment like this, at a time like this, I want to start by departing from the usual script and thanking all our nurses and doctors and allied health professionals that are persevering during this fourth surge of COVID, which I think is going to be different from all the others, because really for the first time kids are in the spotlight and our nurses are in the spotlight. And we are facing a national conversation finally about the importance of nursing care as relates to kids. Our own personal kids and our families and our work are now inseparable. And I begin my comments with a heartfelt thanks to all of you for the work you're doing with us. The second point I would make is a word of thanks to Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Cuddy, Dr. Mettler for the vision in bringing this center to fruition and recognizing that excellent outcomes after surgery do not end when the child leaves the operating room, but in fact they begin when the child leaves the operating room. And this unit right here on this day is the next step in that journey of ensuring the best possible outcomes for all of our children that need cardiac care. And so I thank Dr. Gottlieb-Sen and Dr. Mettler for their incredible skill in the operating room, for creating the outcomes that our children deserve and that our peer institutions are taking notice of and are recognizing that our center at this hospital is truly the envy of the congenital heart world. And you all are to be thanked for that and applauded for that. And my final point is that this is what world-class pediatric care looks like. Amazing surgeons, amazing nurses, amazing teams in a place that's dedicated to a disease, investigating from the inside and out. And that's what Hopkins stands for. And building on our tradition of our leaders that came before us and naming this center in their honor is just, as Dr. Miller says and as Dr. Moon said, the right thing to do. I'm really honored to be here today to stand amongst you, and I look forward to the great work that's going to come out of this unit. Thank you so much. And Dr. Stockwell.
Thanks, sir. Yeah. Oh, good. Hello, David Stockwell. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of the Children's Center, and I was privileged to be able to join the planning group about halfway through. And I have to say that there were days, Dr. Moon, that it seemed like we wouldn't get here, right, Lasia? But we're here, and this is great. And I guess, you know, I'm struck, I think, for the staff nurses that are here, that maybe you didn't take part in some of the immense amount of planning. Just know that you have great leaders in front of you. Sapna's awesome at what she does, and she's really, really good. And so there maybe is a little bit of unknown as to what this place is going to look like and evolve and become, but you're in really good hands. And I think that's one of the coolest things about this. Your docs are going to take great care of your patients. All of your nurses are going to learn everything that you need to do to take great care of these patients, and you're going to serve the Children's Center so well. I'm really excited that our heart program is building and growing, because in addition to the heart program growing, it just means really good things for the Children's Center too. So many great things have been said, but so I won't go on much longer, but thank you very much, and look forward to working with you all throughout the course of how we evolve here together. Thank you. And now to Dawn.
Trip. I don't need to be phone either. Okay, well, thank you for letting me just take a few minutes. I started thinking about what I was going to say, and I really wanted to paint the picture of the work and the intensity of work that's happened over the last 10 months. Let's think about that. 10 months ago, we were cutting the ribbon for our Pediatric Cardiac Intensive Care Unit. And from that day on, Sapna and her team put their heads together to think about all of the planning that needed to be involved to make this unit be magical and deliver the best care possible for our patients. This was not an easy feat. A comprehensive nursing education program was developed, and each nurse received almost 24 hours worth of education, which is quite a bit if you think, I believe Sapna has about 50 nurses, so we can do the math there. Policy review and development, looking at the policies and what needed to be revised so that we can carry the continuity of care from the ICU to the step down and then to acute care and home. Workflows needed to be defined, and many other programmatic and operational considerations needed to happen. There was a multidisciplinary team that David alluded to that worked weekly, probably a couple times a week up to today, to get this work in, from the Bloomberg 9 North nursing staff, partnering with our CICU nursing staff, peds cardiology, and administration, really to make today happen. I congratulate the team for the work that you've done. Today's the day where we'll cut the ribbon and we carry on. I know that you've been caring for cardiac patients already and delivering wonderful care, but this is a moment in time to make this unit very special. And many may ask us, why do we need a cardiac step-down unit? And I would answer that through the lens of our patients and our families. We're creating a care transition path that allows the patients and their families to see how they are progressing closer to home. We can appreciate all the hustle and bustle that a pediatric cardiac intensive unit offers for our patients and families. And what this space here on 9 North will offer is a much quieter space, a more healing environment, and allow the patients and families to feel that they are closer to home. So with that, I think that is most ideal and best practice, and I want to thank each and every one of you for carrying out this planning, standing up the unit, and giving the best possible care we can to our patients. And Lancia.
Good afternoon, and thank you for letting me speak today. I think we've all mentioned and spoken about how Helen Taussig, Alfred Blalock, and Vivian Thomas came together in 1944 and created the first Blalock-Taussig-Thomas shunt and laid the foundation for care of children with congenital heart disease. While that is a seminal part of our history, I would like to focus today on a conversation between Dr. Taussig and Dr. Blalock that occurred 2 years prior to this huge operation. It occurred after Dr. Blalock had closed a patent ductus arteriosus, the first time the surgery was done right here at Johns Hopkins. It was a monumental day and an important procedure. But here's what Dr. Taussig said to him on that day in 1942, and I'll read her quote. Dr. Blalock, I stand in awe and admiration of your surgical skill, but the really great day will come when you build a ductus for a child who is dying of anoxemia, not when you tie off a patent ductus arteriosus for a child who has too much blood going to his lungs. To which Dr. Blalock, just having completed a historical operation, gracefully replied, when that day comes, this will seem like child's play. Just 2 years later, with Dr. Vivian Thomas on their team, the first Blalock-Taussig-Thomas shunt in its earliest form was performed on a 15-month-old child named Eileen. There's so much to be learned from that exchange. That is the result when teams challenge each other with humility and respect, backed by education and experience to push ourselves beyond the status quo. As we inaugurate this pediatric cardiac unit, I am hopeful that all our teams involved will bear those great ideals in mind. we have undertaken a new responsibility, assuming a higher level of care than previous to help patients graduate earlier from their intensive care needs. We feel it is imperative to do this, so they may focus on recovery and being outside the hospital, that their length of stay in the hospital will be shorter, their outcomes better, that they know their time in the hospital, while an important milestone, does not define them. My hope is that our multidisciplinary team will continue to work together, as we have done in these last few months, at times questioning or debating, pushing harder, pooling experiences, applauding each other, because our patients, our heart warriors, deserve nothing less. I feel we have these tools in our history, that those in our history embraced and created that culture that makes a good program great. We are ready. And with that, I'd like to ask our nurse practitioner, Pat Kane, to unveil the photo of Helen Taussig, which will hang with great pride in our new nurse practitioner office on 9 North Pediatric Cardiac Unit. And now our nurse leader, Sapna Edwards, who has been a critical part of creating this unit, creating the policies that we have put together, will stand to cut the ribbon and officially inaugurate the Pediatric Cardiac Unit.